You kind of look like a Ninja Turtle. You're not that cute. You need to relax. You stocky as hell. And I was trying to be respectful, but like you was really coming out like I didn't like it.
I bet. So this here is Aaron the plumber, and Aaron the plumber, he was looking for a nice little shorty to date. So what he did, he went on to this dating show, and on this dating show, they were playing a game. The game was called Pop the Balloon Challenge. How you play this game is they have a lineup full of women, and they all are holding an inflated balloon. And while the man is standing there, maybe answering questions, these girls will pop their balloon to indicate that they're no longer interested. Once they pop their balloon, the host will go over to the female and ask her,
"What was it that made you pop your balloon?"
The woman will go on to give an explanation as to what the turnoff was, and the guy would have a chance to respond. Now, Aaron was very defensive. Possibly he was a little insecure. He was talking about, oh, the feeling is mutual, or I wouldn't approach you in the streets anyways, you ain't my type. As you can see, he's looking at this one girl who's speaking to him, and while she's speaking to him, he's looking at her up and down, really trying to conjure up a diss. So he disses her. He tells her that, you know, there's hair on her arms and all of that.
Hair on their
Don't
arms.
do too much.
Hey, I'm just being honest,
Don't
queen.
do too much.
And ultimately, all of the females, except for one, pop their balloons on Aaron. So anyways, Aaron, he gets his date, and now you're probably wondering what happened next. All this clout chasing got me fired from work. Man, I really love plumbing, and I'm good at it. And they got that taken from me. Y'all are sick. They called the company 500 times and messing up business. Now you would think, okay, that's the end of story. Let's move on to the next one. Aaron, he set up a GoFundMe with the goal of raising $10,000 to help him raise money for humanitarian efforts. Sounds good, right? But a lot of people were wondering, why would he need a GoFundMe when he just said this?
But one thing about me, I could pull 100,000 on the bank. Can you do the same?
Get this
yeah,
man
you can't
off
do
camera.
that.
Now I get it. Why would somebody want to spend their last $100,000 towards humanitarian efforts? That wouldn't make much sense. But neither would making it rain in the club. Now, to add insult to injury, this female came out and she claimed to be Aaron's ex. And this is what she had to say about him.
Aaron is my ex. We dated for a few months and it didn't last very long, and let me tell you why. He is like insane. It's like he has that little person talking to him in the corner of his shoulder at all times. Like he's making up constant stories in his head about like that I'm cheating on him, that he's got to watch his back. Of course, I talked to somebody else before I met him too. It kind of just ended up going in the direction with Aaron. And so they would text my phone and he would check my phone every few hours. Every time a vibration would go off, every time I'd get a notification, he's looking at me like he wants to like literally do something to me. I don't know what was going on. It's just that look in his eyes, and you guys know. So anyways, he starts to distance me from my family. He starts to track me. I give him my location because I had nothing to hide. Every time I would walk by the window, my location would show that I was outside. So he'd call me like, what are you doing outside? Who are you messing with at work? Why aren't you working? Like that controlling, right? Then he starts doing pop-ups at my job, and it got so bad that my supervisor had to keep watching me. We had to basically like, everybody had to walk me to my car after work to make sure that I made it. And then one time I walked outside to the cafeteria and he calls me and he's like, how did I know you were outside? So that in my head was like, circles already turning. I go to my car to see if he put a tracker because he is capable of doing some shit like that. And I couldn't find anything. And then he pops up at my job like, don't break up with me, don't do this, like, I'll change. I thought I was gonna catch you doing something. And I was like, how did you know I was outside, right? He said, I put my extra phone tracking you in your car and I left it on record because I was expecting to record you doing something, as in cheating on me or like messing around in your car. And I was like, I was done.
Now one would say, okay, you know what, there's no way you could really support this guy. There's way too many red flags, but you could only leave it to the red pill community that are filled with bitter men to find a way to still support him. And because MTR, he realized that there was a market for this, he wanted to be the first bird to get the worm. So what did he do? He opened up his platform and shared it with Aaron the plumber. And because his platform has over 700,000 subscribers, Aaron was able to run it up on the GoFundMe that was never released. Now in this interview, MTR asked him about these allegations levied by his ex. Aaron was stuttering like, yeah, I leave my other phone in her car with the location on, but that's how I knew where she was, but I don't want to, you know, he was just stuttering like Joe. Now, you still have some doubters within the community. They're saying that this girl is just clout chasing, this is just one allegation. But what if I told you that another one of his exes showed up on Celebrity's podcast and she actually played a recording that sounds a lot like Aaron the plumber?
This is what he sent to the owner of where I work, my boss, my coworkers, family, and friends.
Okay, let me go ahead and play this for you guys, and I'm sure he'll tell you that this is not his voice, but here we go.
Thinking I need mental help, and I'm so insecure and all this shit, but the whole time you was being a fucking hoe, sucking niggas at work, fucking thinking, it got me thinking I need mental help, and I'm so insecure and all this shit. But the whole time you was being a hoe, sucking niggas at work, thinking it got me.
Now that's the voice of a man who is emotionally unstable. That's the voice of a man who argues with women, and we know that Aaron argues with women based on his performance during the Pop the Balloon challenge. That is also the voice of a man who is probably going to be more prone to putting his hands on a female. And speaking of which, his ex-girlfriends have actually taken out restraining orders against him. Now, MTR, he actually came to the realization that he just effed up by allowing this scammer to come onto his platform and funnel more support to his GoFundMe. And I must say, after that interview with MTR within a day or two, that GoFundMe was bumping. No wonder he was throwing money in the club, because he thought he was about to make that back. And now we have MTR, you know, the same guy that holds everybody accountable. He's trying to save face. He's saying that he never directed anybody to go donate to the GoFundMe, and he's not responsible for that. He wants people to believe that he was just opening up his platform to help men. But this is what happens when the blind is leading the blind. You see, a lot of these guys that are making manosphere red pill content, they're just misleading a lot of bitter dudes, and they're not really leading them to solutions. They're selling courses to them, teaching them how to become a better man, and it's like, you don't need to learn how to be a man, just be a man. I'm not trying to judge. I grew up in a single parent home, and I had to find my way as a man as well. But there's a lot of dudes out here that don't want to heal. They don't want to get over the woman that played them. They don't want to get over the woman that took them through the court system, or they don't want to get over the fact that they can't get the woman that they want, or at least that they think they want. So instead of getting better and improving within and taking their time to move forward, they go over to these spaces where they feel like they have an outlet by way of these content creators who are just spewing hatred and vitriol and division between the male and the female. And then these men leave with more animosity, more anger, and more blaming the quote-unquote modern woman. Listen, if your goal is to be with a woman one day, then let me tell you, the red pill content ain't the way. This whole idea of high-value man is really setting you up to be a high-valued simp. Either that, or, you're gonna end up dealing with men. I don't know what to tell you. They don't tell you anything good about women, so why would you want to be with a woman if you're listening to that content? I don't know. But that's my thoughts, and I'd like to hear from you. You might be calling me a simp, tearing down black men. Go ahead, let me know. But until next time, peace.